Hi, my name is Stephanie Foster, and I'm going to be talking about the impacts of financial scarcity. Scarcity is something that many people experience in their lifetime. It could be with time, money, food, or any other resource that we need more than what we have. Scarcity is the economic problem where we have less resources than what we need. It's a situation where the limited supply of good is compared to the high demand for the good, which leads us with a mismatch of supply and demand equilibrium. This position can cause people to often act irrationally or differently than they would if they did not have the stress of scarcity lingering over their head. Scarcity is experienced in many different ways with many different resources, but the most frequent form of scarcity that people experience is with time and money. Some people experience scarcity of both, where they don't have enough time or money, while others have too much time on their hands but not enough money, or vice versa. For example, someone who's working a part-time job or who is unemployed altogether may have a lot of time on their hands, but not enough money to pay rent or other bills. On the other hand, a CEO or high executive at a company may be making millions of dollars a year, but they might not have the time to enjoy it. They may have less time for sleeping, eating, or just spending time with their family because work is so demanding. It's typically very uncommon for someone to have an abundance of time and money in today's society. People typically put a higher value on resources that are scarce and pay less attention to other resources that are abundant. The idea that we have less of something that we need fills up our bandwidth, or our mental suitcase as some refer to it, which leads us to make irrational decisions and behave in a way in which we would not if we were not under this pressure of scarcity. Scarcity uses up so much of our mental energy, we are bound to make mistakes or bad decisions in comparison to those who are not experiencing this mental stress. This is especially true for those who are in poverty. Those who are impoverished are under so much mental stress due to the lack of financial resources, it tends to hold an unbreakable grip on millions of people. This is true for countless of families, domestically and internationally. Oftentimes, people are quick to assume that people living in poverty are still impoverished because they're choosing to make poor financial decisions that's keeping them on or below the poverty line. While this may be true to an extent, the stress of not having enough money can lead to impaired cognitive functions. When your bandwidth is taken up by trying to figure out how you're going to pay your rent, a late fee, or any other pressing payment, it can cause you to lose track of your priorities. Someone may be so stressed out by this that they are managing their time poorly, which could also result in job loss. This situation can further your stress and cause them to fall even further below the poverty line. While some forms of scarcity are short-term, others are long-lasting. Someone may be scarce on time, but once they meet their deadlines, they are no longer feeling under pressure to finish the task at hand. Poverty, for example, is long-lasting. People who are living in poverty do not have the deadline to meet or X number of projects to finish until they are no longer under the pressure of lack of time, and they cannot just refuse to pay their rent or feed their family to avoid being poor. Coming out of poverty requires much more than that and is long-lasting. While the scarcity mindset can be crippling, there are ways out. It is not an easy situation to bring yourself out of, but by being aware and taking back your cognitive thinking from the tax scarcity brings, you can improve your economic status. First, you can start thinking about the things that you have an abundance of. When we're experiencing financial scarcity, it is easy to overlook the things that we are not lacking and take them for granted. Once you realize what you do have and do not need more of, you can focus on the fact that your financial position does not have to be permanent. Scarcity can cause us to be so mentally impaired that it's hard to think about the long term, but there is a way out. Once you change your mindset, you escape the biases that scarcity can bring. Next, you can try to make yourself more marketable. Taking time out of your day to think of business ideas or learn a new skill can make you more attractive to employers and could improve your career. Sometimes it seems impossible to overcome this wealth inequality that many experience, but with hard work and determination it can be done. While this is incredibly difficult to make time for other priorities when you're experiencing financial scarcity, focusing on one thing at a time can slowly get you out of the situation you may be in and can improve your economic status.